Payback time. Nikki Haley crushes disloyal Trump-hating members of the UN with one photo. By That Conservative Girl Politics US News from AdWorldNews.com. It's finally payback time, folks. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, just crushed the disloyal haters of President Donald Trump at the UN with one perfectly timed photo. In December, President Donald Trump announced his decision to move the U.S. Embassy in Israel to Jerusalem, essentially recognizing the city as the Jewish nation's capital. Although this is entirely within the rights of the United States as a sovereign nation, it raised the ire of many UN member nations. Too bad for them. Ultimately, the UN Security Council drafted a resolution in opposition to Trump's decision to move the U.S. Embassy, and a great many member nations got behind the measure. In December, 128 UN member nations voted to condemn President Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital as null and void during the UN General Assembly. 9 countries voted against the condemnation, which means they support the United States, while 35 nations abstained. 21 countries were absent during the vote. Among the countries that voted to condemn the U.S. were longtime allies Germany, France, and the United Kingdom. Other key allies like Canada, Mexico, and Australia abstained from the vote. 9 countries, including Honduras, Guatemala, and Palau, supported the U.S. decision. The betrayal infuriated millions of Americans, many of whom demanded the U.S. defund the United Nations since we get the least benefit out of the alliance, source BizPac Review. This proved to be a very stupid move as the United States has veto power. So a vote on the measure has little more than spitting in the wind. Indeed, all that it accomplished was to piss off President Trump, who has already proven that he is not a man you want to mess with. Trump responded by announcing an unprecedented cut in U.S. funding to the UN. Not to be outdone, Haley had a little something of her own up her sleeve in order to reward the UN member nations, which stood with the United States in the decision to move the embassy to Jerusalem. Haley is hosting a party tonight for the 65 nations that did not vote against the United States at the UN General Assembly last month regarding Jerusalem. Haley posted a save the date invitation to the party on Instagram. As I said in December, we won't forget the Jerusalem vote, Haley said Tuesday. To that end, tomorrow night we are having a reception for the countries who chose not to oppose the U.S. position. This is a great sign of U.S. friendship. We hope to see more of this in 2018, she continued. The United States is asked to do a huge amount around the world, and we are happy to do that, Haley added, but we expect to be treated respectfully in return. Haley also reminded disloyal allies that the U.S. contributes far more money to the United Nations than all of the other member countries combined. The next time the countries which voted against us come to the U.S. begging for help, we will certainly remember their disloyalty and consider it heavily as we weigh the decision regarding whether to give them even more taxpayer dollars. Well, we will remember it when we are called upon to once again make the world's largest contribution to the United Nations, Haley promised. And we will remember it when so many countries come calling on us, as they do so often, to pay even more and to use our influence for their benefit. This is a fantastic way to kick off the new year. The United Nations, which Trump has repeatedly blasted as a sad and useless social club, needs to be put on notice. No longer will the U.S. continue to fund the worthless organizations to the tune of billions of dollars each year without receiving any sort of support in return. This is precisely the reason why many are touting Haley's name as a viable option to become the first female president. I don't like that idea. She's a warmonger. She certainly is making a name for herself at the UN, and Trump couldn't be happier. 2018 is already promising to be a groundbreaking year for the U.S. and our allies with Trump and Haley in charge. Well, I go along with Trump. I do not like Haley. I can't help it. I don't know too much, but no, she's not. She pushes for war. She's more of a globalist to me. But I guess Trump keeps her in line to some degree. Where, you know, what are you gonna do? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.